You know, Mr. Carona charmed you all into lifting any kind of restrictions on hiring of people. And so on one hand, you would assume that somebody who comes from someplace else could also charm voters within 3 years. Are you ruling out outsiders from outside LA or Orange County?
Well, first of all, Mr. Sheriff, the sheriff did not charm either one of us. That was a previous board that lifted those restrictions. But no, I wouldn't rule anybody out. Certainly not. I would welcome as many people to apply as possible. John, I think the one legal requirement is they have to be a peace officer, and they can be a peace officer from any state. There are state requirements on this, and they are.
And they'd have to live inside the county.
So we have to make a quick move.
Right. They would have to be a registered voter within the county. So sometimes you're dealing with outsiders. They say, well, hire me first, then I'll move my family. I mean, you would have to actually already be living here and be a registered voter in the county before.
In order to get a job in Orange County, you've got to be one. You've got
Well, to be an elected
somebody-
official, you have to be registered to vote
But
in
I'm
your
talking about,
jurisdiction.
right, and so that same criteria applies to somebody who's appointed.
Oh yeah, if I moved out of the county tomorrow, I'd have to resign.
You can't appoint somebody from someplace else. They have to be
They would
a
have
county
to.
resident.
They would have to be a registered voter in the county at the time they held the job. Yeah, because they are a political official in that county.
Kind
Even
of
somebody
limits your
who's
selection.
working as an
Well, we've got
sheriff.
3 million people.
You can live in the county and get registered to vote in a matter of minutes.
Right, right. It doesn't take much, but it would take a commitment on that person to push
So-
it
so
here.
you're
So
not
even the
ruling that
interim
out.
sheriff would have to be a county resident, even though they don't have to stand for election to be appointed by you guys?
That's my understanding.
Have you received any inquiries from out of state at this point? I mean, you said you've already gotten some emails and things. Have any of them been from outside?
I
of
haven't
this?
gotten out of state or
Not to my knowledge. But this is just starting, so we'll see how everything unfolds.
When the time comes, will this be a vote on the record, or?
Absolutely.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely. We might even look at public interviews as well. That was a model that was done by the Department of Education when Superintendent John Dean resigned midterm. They held the interviews of the top candidates in a public session. And so we want to look and see if that's a model we want to follow as well.
And Chairman Moorlach is the perfect guy for this. He's been chairman less than a week. But he knows what it's like when somebody resigns from office, as our treasurer did in an emergency situation. And he knows what it's like when a board has to go out and find a replacement, as they did in John.
When's your state of the county, John?
Pardon me?
When's your state of the county, Steve?
29th.
You got your lead.
Anything else?
Do you want to talk about what you'll be looking for as far as strengths go, or, you know, what you'll be looking for specifically?
Well, you've already nibbled at it, and that is, are they supportive of an Office of Independent Review? Are they supportive of coupling? Are they supportive of DNA technology and outsourcing? Just a lot of issues that certainly want to see, you know, where the candidates stand. Make sure they're cooperative with the other police chiefs around the county, and that we have a good, harmonious working relationship. You know, some of those questions are certainly those that I would ask in the interview process.
It's a challenge to balance because in a way, a law enforcement organization is more paramilitary in its organization command structure. And so you need someone who's strong, but you've also got to have somebody who's sensitive, someone who can get along with people. He's a separate elected individual, but his budget is controlled by the Board of Supervisors. So in that sense, it's very different than a police chief in a city who's appointed and can be fired by a city council. Once we appoint this person, they have their own political base. And we deal with their budget, but they have a lot of independent authority. And so we can describe our ideal conditions, just like a lot of you could describe your ideal husband or wife. But the fact is, we deal with specific people who have a package of traits, complex traits.
Mr. Nerby, could I just ask a question? I missed the
Sure.
beginning of this, but
I did too, actually.
I know. We thought you were coming back.
Well,
at
John's the
one.
chair
I'm
now.
gonna go get you. So my question is this: whoever you pick, whether it's transparent or whatever, however this person gets into the office, they have what? They have a whole bureaucracy, Carona cronies running the sheriff's department. How do you set that
Well, not
aside?
really.
What do you do to ease it for the new leader?
The Carona cronies are already gone and have already been indicted before the sheriff got indicted. And that was his problem, is his cronies
All of his, all
well,
of
the
his,
two-
all of his allies are gone for the sheriff's
The
department?
two big ones,
All right, but
Jaramillo
what about all
and
the
Heath.
undersheriffs and the people who are still?
There are other people there that have been in the department who have been close to the sheriff, because of course they've had to be in order to work with the sheriff. But I wouldn't necessarily say that they're all cronies just because they've worked with the sheriff. Now, this is still gonna be a board call as to whether we wanna hire people that have been close to the sheriff because they have experience in the department, or whether we want a whole new fresh start. And you weigh both. There are advantages and disadvantages to both, and we'll have to weigh those.
Another candidate?
That may be. Yeah. Let me check that area code there.
And,
Let's see, 626.
I think we can
What
probably
state
wrap
is that?
this up.
They're eligible.
Thank you very much for coming, and appreciate your time and attention.